Hey YouTube, this is Doug from The Rise Ranch, and today I have a cool little Reptile Expo pickup. So you probably see some animals here. I actually didn't even look at all this, but this was the pamphlet that they were handing out at the show for the Daytona Expo, so I had to get it just because I thought it was really cool. So first up on the pickup video is these red-eyed crocodile skinks. So you can see that nice red eye. This is a male. You know, I typically wouldn't have got these guys from them unless I knew that they were captively raised. The reason why I got these guys is that they were in an open terrarium at the Reptile Expo this year, and people were handling them. And these are very quiet, secretive reptile species that I've done a lot of research on, and I know their care. So I was a little worried about these guys going to someone and they were saying that they need to go in 10-gallon tanks and they can just go in a regular dry environment, and they didn't really know a lot about these guys, the breeders that were selling them. And these guys actually like to be in water and like to swim and need a very moist, damp environment with some UVB light here and there, but they are nocturnal, so keep that in mind. But this was a beautiful one that was running around the cage, and I felt really bad that people were trying to pick them up and touch them and do things. I really hate when people do that because this guy must have been really, really stressed out. And they sold me two as a pair, so I kind of just tried to rescue it. This is a young red-eyed crocodile skink, technically a female. I might end up separating these guys and putting this one in the big enclosure that I have and this one in the smaller one. But they will both get like semi-aquatic environments with stones in there so that they can go swimming. So I did decide to get them for $180. This wasn't a bad deal. But there's still the risk that these animals can die on me. So keep that in mind. They are very sensitive. This is not an animal that regular people should get. But they are quite beautiful. They look like little dragons. So very, very cool. The only reason why I got them is because I know I can take care of them, and I didn't want to see someone kill these things at the show. All right, next up is from a friend at Lecco, my gecko. I love his animals. They are absolutely beautiful. Right here is a whiteout het amel in Zulu, pos het Murphy's or patternless male African fat-tailed gecko. My whiteout male died, and this one's actually bigger than he ever was. So this is actually a gorgeous male that I will hopefully be using next year with all my African fat-tailed gecko females. Now, the next Expo pickups are going to blow your mind. It blew my mind to find them, so I'm just very, very excited. I wasn't planning on getting these guys because I didn't really want them for a long time, but due to the price, I couldn't refuse. So these... this is a $200 cappuccino crested gecko. So here's the female. You can see that nice Y. Come here. Don't run away on me one-handed. Let me put down the phone real quick. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm going to lose the Cresty. She's going bonkers. There we go. Sorry about that. So there's that nice Y at the base of this cappuccino female. So this one's the female and this one's the male. This one doesn't have quite as good of a Y on the base. These guys came from Reptile by Mac, so they will be quarantined, but they look pretty good size, and I'm pretty excited about these guys. This was the only male that they had left on the table, so I did take it. It has a very slight Y there, so maybe this is more of a possible cappuccino male, but regardless, they are lower end cappuccinos. So I understand that these are low end. They will be bred to very high end crested geckos, nothing low end anymore. But gorgeous caps, very excited to have them. I also picked up these guys, which these are chahua, Pine Island chahua geckos, and they are gorgeous. I love the little heart on the top of this guy. I've always wanted chahuas, and I paid $200 for these guys, which is a steal because these guys can go up into the thousands. And I couldn't believe that I saw them posted for this. And I think people didn't know what they were, so they were just passing over them. But I couldn't. This one also has a heart on the head, which is really cool. They said that this was from a blue line of Pine Island chahuas. So I grabbed a bigger one that looked really healthy, and then I grabbed this one that looked really cool. So at one point, I do want to do crosses between crested geckos and chahuas. So I do want to do a hybrid, especially if one of these turns out to be a male. My hope is that they are a pair. The next gecko is something that's very special. So right here is a viper gecko, but what's cool about this viper gecko is how much white it has on it. So for those who don't know, viper geckos kind of have like a yellowish brown color and not this white color. So this is kind of neat. I'm kind of wondering if this is a morphed viper gecko and if it's like an anery where it's just high white. But regardless, this is a very, very special viper gecko baby that I found at the show. There was only one at the table. I wish there was more. I would have bought another one. You know, Josh's Frogs was at the Daytona Reptile Expo and they had some. But I decided to just get this guy who was from an independent breeder and was the only one on his table. They had satanic leaf-tailed geckos, spear points. I didn't want to get them just yet just because I'm not prepared. And if you do have to get them, you should be prepared to some extent. So very, very cool baby viper gecko. This one will be definitely a like pinnacle project animal that will be housed by himself. And I have my own viper geckos, so that will be really neat. But honestly, just a crazy Reptile Expo pickup stays. I didn't expect to come home with these. Honestly, I really felt bad about the crocodile skinks, so that's why I got them. African Fattail I was expecting to get, so this was really the only animal I was expecting to buy. And then these four just kind of popped up at the show, and I said, I can't pass it up, even for a low-grade cappuccino. So I did get to see AJ and Brian from Altitude Exotics and, you know, the Flawless Crested Geckos. They are such nice people. Oh my gosh. It was such a wonderful time at that Daytona show. I just couldn't pass it up. There was a ton of Xanthics, some Frappuccinos there. One lily white Xanthic, which was really cool. So that's a project goal for us here. They had a ton of Paws Head Xanthics. Some really at good prices at like $125 for a 66% head Xanthic. You know, if I was trying to get into Xanthics, which I already have a bunch, I would just buy a ton of those personally. But really amazing, really happy with this viper gecko find at the very end. Wasn't expecting it. Super excited about this male, and I'll let you know how the crocodile skinks go. You know, I really wasn't expecting to have any. You know, I tried to pick out the healthiest ones that I could. Unfortunately, this one's a baby, so it will be really sensitive. Same thing with this one, though. I just felt really bad, but he seems a lot calmer in here than he did running around in his tank trying to avoid little kids' hands. So I'm really happy to kind of pull him out of that situation. I figured it would give him some ease. So, yep, I'll let you know how these guys develop, if I got males or females or what's going on. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. Even if they're both females, they're just kind of amazing. So this was an awesome expo, guys. I highly recommend the Daytona show for anyone in the future. There was a lot of really knowledgeable people, great reptile lovers out there, and I can't express how happy I am that I went. All right, guys, comment, rate, and subscribe.